Happy Thursday, Facebook friends. Welcome back to Facebook. I'm Angie Garza, Director of Professional Learning and Educational Services at ROE 47, serving Lee, O.W.L, and Whiteside counties. And if you're joining us back here this fine Thursday as we welcome the month of May, you'll know that it's time for another edition of Teacher Talk. And today, fresh off of our early childhood screenings last Friday in Dixon, we are continuing our conversation about early childhood education and services here in Lee, O.W.L, and Whiteside counties. And so today we're going to be talking about a wonderful new resource for parents and caregivers that is a product of our own Sauk Valley Stars Coalition in partnership with Birth to 5 Illinois. So we are going to be welcoming a very special guest to our Teacher Talk platform here momentarily. But before we do that, I would like to say a very spring-like welcome, good morning, to my friend, colleague, and co-host, Ms. Stacy Dingus. Good morning, Ms. Stacy. Welcome, May, and welcome all things early childhood.
Good morning, Angie. Definitely seems like we've been doing a lot of chatter here on our Teacher Talk about early childhood, about those age groups that maybe we think are, birth to 5, birth to 3, the little ones. I often say that it's been a while since I've had those little ones or had to think about that. So I enjoy these conversations, definitely a product of a lot of work that has been happening, a lot of conversations. We have listened to our business industry, families, our school communities, and really stepped up to answer the call as to providing more services for them. So proud of the work that's been happening and excited to share that today on our Teacher Talk.
You are so right. This is a shared lift in our communities. It is a matter of educating well-rounded children, children who are well taken care of. It's also, in our conversations, it's been interesting. It's a matter of economic development and community health. And so this work is so vital to just the fiber of who we are and what we do in our communities. And so our organization, our Regional Office of Education 47, has been so pleased to partner with Birth to 5 Illinois and Region 47 services for our area. And we are so happy to welcome to our Teacher Talk platform this morning here, Abby Hoskins, who is with Birth to 5 Illinois Region 47. And Abby, by the way, to our viewers, is no stranger to our platform. She's been on Teacher Talk a number of times talking about early childhood here in Lee, O.W.L, and Whiteside counties. But today, we're hoping that Abby can shed some light on some wonderful new resources that are coming out from our region for parents and caregivers. And so good morning, Abby. We are so happy that you're able to join us here this morning on Teacher Talk. And before we get to those OWL resources, that's our teaser trailer, if you wouldn't mind reintroducing yourself to our listening community and talk a little bit about the work that you and your group does with regards to early childhood education here in the state of Illinois.
Thanks, Angie and Stacy. I'm really excited to be back here today, and it's been a really great couple of weeks for early childhood, so great timing. So I'm the Regional Council Manager for Birth to 5 Illinois Region 47, which covers the same counties as the Regional Office of Education, so Lee, O.W.L, and Whiteside counties. My role and my team's role is to support local stakeholders and parents and caregivers in coming together to address early childhood needs within the communities. So we work really closely with an action council that, as Angie said, also partners with the Sauk Valley Stars Coalition. The Action Council is made of different stakeholders in our region, some of those that are actually working in early childhood education and care, and some that aren't, that are coming from the business community, the faith community, other types of leadership throughout our community, and also parent voice. And then we also work very closely with a family council, which are parents and caregivers that actually live in Lee, O.W.L, or Whiteside counties, raising children that are 0 to 8 years of age, and are living here, raising their children, looking for those resources and able to share their insight. And I'm really excited to be here today as our councils have just launched a large part of our action plan, as Angie brought up, the O.W.L Early Childhood Resource Hub.
Tell us a little bit more about what does this O.W.L stand for? Why was it chosen for the initiative? Can you tell us about how the Early Childhood Resource Hub works and kind of the background, how it came to life?
Yeah, so OWL stands for Ogle, Whiteside, and Lee. It's an acronym that was thoughtfully created by our Family Council to represent Ogle, Whiteside, and Lee County's Early Childhood Resource Hub. The name OWL was chosen to symbolize a simple one-stop platform tailored to a unique early childhood resources in our region, specifically for families ages 8 and under. So when families visit the site, they'll be welcomed by an adorable little owl. It's designed to make you feel confident that you found the right place for your young child or children to access the valuable support that our community provides. So, over the last 3 years, along with the Sauk Valley Stars Coalition, our Action and Family Councils have worked to make OWL Early Childhood Resource Hub a possibility. So, in year one, we all worked together to develop an early childhood regional needs assessment. So, during this process, we looked at what was going on in our community when it came to early childhood education and care. So, looked at the strengths in our region, also looked at the needs. When it came to those needs, then our councils and the STARS Coalition worked to develop recommendations. So, what were we going to do from a regional perspective to improve some of these things? And one of the things that came up multiple times was just general awareness. So, we have a lot of great resources in our region. But some of the parents weren't aware of all the different things out there or didn't know how to get to them. They indicated they wanted things that were simplified, interactive, easy to use. This came about when we were talking about some of our early education programs and also how to access childcare resources as well. So then our councils worked together to take all of those needs and recommendations in year two, and they created an action plan to address some of those recommendations. So by creating the action plan, we look to achieve two things. To tackle that awareness piece and create an online resource hub for parents that was easy to use, and then also to address childcare needs in our region and awareness when it comes to that, and help spread the word of the efforts already out there from our local childcare resource and referral agencies and develop a childcare toolkit. And both of these things work together. We're going to work together to get OWL out there in the community for our families, but then also the childcare toolkit can be used by our local business community because we heard that employers actually want to support their employees and how to find childcare, how to find quality care, how to help pay for it, and things like that. So then year three is where we're at right now, and this was our year of action to work to create OWL and the childcare toolkit.
Abby, what a wonderful resource for our families here in Lee, Ogle, and Whiteside counties. And, I can't help but take a pause and appreciate the fact that there has been so much intentional work in collaboration with other stakeholders. There are definite partnerships where people are vested, they care about these conversations, and they're willing to step up to the plate when it comes to putting plans into action. So I was wondering, as we kind of think about all of the wonderful work that has happened here over the last several years, can you talk to us a little bit about those partnerships? How does the Action Council and the Stars Coalition come together? How did that influence the work of that OWL Resource Hub? Tell us a little bit more about this parent council and all of the unique voices that are represented to make caring for our kids a reality.
You said it so well, Angie. So when it comes to Ogle, Whiteside, and Lee counties, there's so much wonderful collaboration. So through our collaboration with the Sauk Valley Stars Coalition, we were able to gather so much great insight and resources from both coalition members and the stakeholders that are on the Action Council. Without that insight, we wouldn't have had a great system that works for families and actual content that's really important to early childhood education and care. And then also the Family Council. I love talking about the Family Council because it is made of local parents and caregivers, and they played such a huge role in the development of this. They helped with content development. What is really important to parents? What were they seeing that wasn't working, or what could we do better? All the way down to designing the owl and just the cute colors and brightness closeness and the interactions and things like that really came from the family council, which was wonderful. We also were able to partner with other people that weren't traditionally at the early childhood table, but are so important in making sure this really works for our community. We partnered with 4 of our local chambers of commerce, so the Discover Dixon, Rock Falls, Sauk Valley area, and the Oregon Chamber of Commerce. They all came to the table to really look at what it looks like from a community member standpoint and not someone who necessarily works in early childhood. And then also 4C, our region's child care resource and referral agency, helped to ensure that we had resources that truly met the community's needs, supported parents in finding childcare resources, and also supporting that business and employer standpoint from the community as well.
What makes this resource directory different than other online digital resources? Can you tell us a little bit more about if a family were to visit the hub, what they're going to see? Maybe walk us through that.
So when they come to this resource hub, the goal is really that it's simple and easy. So a way of bringing together all of our region's early childhood resources in one spot. All of the resources in the OWL site are going to explain to the community what it is and why it's important, and then take them to resources that already existed in our region. So there's so many great resources that were already existing before OWL came, but a parent maybe didn't know how to get pointed in that direction. So it's taking them to different facets like the resource guide on the Regional Office of Education's website, or maybe to learn about another program that has home visiting services, and maybe they hadn't encountered that with their other children. It also is going to take families first and foremost to our region's coordinated intake at the Regional Office of Education, and families can learn how connecting with the specialists can help their family so they can get someone live and in person and understand the value in doing so for their family. They're able to learn about family-friendly events happening in our region that are targeted towards early childhood education and care, that are free or low cost opportunities for families to engage. And then if they prefer to explore on their own, they're going to find resources all throughout this. So we know that some families might not want to pick up the phone and talk to the coordinated intake specialist right away. The site then should guide families through finding those resources. So whether it's an early education program, childcare, or child development information, this is all going to be in one spot with those simple, readable ways for families to explore. And then lastly, if they follow the OWL Facebook page, we're going to continue having that conversation. And there'll be more ways to engage with these resources. They can keep up to date with things going on, or any new resources that are being shared throughout the community can be found here.
That sounds like a comprehensive guide that is going to be able to provide timely support to parents and caregivers. So that is certainly exciting news to be sharing with our listening community. But I think what's even more exciting is the fact that this is a part of, I guess I should say, a larger conversation that's happening in the state of Illinois around early childhood, around childcare, around raising strong and resilient children. So, can you talk to us a little bit as we start to wrap up here this morning, a little bit about how the OWL work, how the work of the Action Council aligns with the overall goals that our state of Illinois has for early childhood care and education?
Yeah, so when it comes to OWL or any of those goals at the regional or state level, the goal is that when it comes to early childhood education care, is to have families at the center. And that's why it's so wonderful that families were pivotal in the creation of this resource and that they'll continue to be part of it moving forward. We want families to be aware of all the great resources and programs in our region, and hopefully OWL will help to do that and strengthen those connections in our community. So that way families are finding what they need, continue to have a platform to share their voice, and we get them enrolled in those programs because we have so many great early childhood education and care programs in our region. And we always can improve as well. So by having this outlet to hear from families, we'll continue that work as well in our region.
Where should listeners go if they want to find more information out about OWL and start using it today? It sounds like a lot of great resources, and I'm sure we're going to have a lot of people interested.
families can go to a bit.ly site to find all of this. So it's bit.ly/m/OWL early childhood. And through this bit.ly link, they'll get an easy to use landing page that will direct you to all things OWL. So when they get to this convenient landing page, the OWL site will be first and foremost linked. This is the interactive site that the community can use to learn about our regional early childhood resources. Second, there'll be the OWL Facebook page, which is a way to continue to engage and has content that's being developed by local parents. So on the Facebook page, parents can look to find Spotlight Mondays, where different providers will be spotlighted and community resources. What's Up Wednesdays, where they can find local events happening for the upcoming week. And Fun Fact Fridays, where parents can learn about different types of development skills, tools, resources, and so on. We'll also be sharing resources and updates from our local community agencies as well. And then lastly, there's a link to our childcare toolkit, is where they can find more about childcare in our region. They can get directed to our local childcare resource and referral agency, 4Cs. They can look up providers or just what they need to look for when it comes to quality care for their children.
Said it once, I'll say it again. That's a lot of really wonderful information for parents and caregivers, all packed in this nice, neat little package. So what incredible work has come out of the last several years with our Birth to Five Action Council and our STARS Coalition and our parent advisory group. So so grateful to have you and all of our supports for early childhood here in the area. Miss Abby, thanks so much for joining us here on Teacher Talk this morning to share all of those wonderful resources and the good news about early childhood in Lee, Ogle, and Whiteside counties. Friends, one of the things that I hope that you take away from today is that parenting, raising children, and finding good childcare can be overwhelming. We also know that children are the future of and the kind of vital force in our communities. So it is so important that we support parents and children in those developmental years to find that care and those opportunities for growth and resilience. And so what's wonderful about this work is that it includes intentional and informed action. It involves communities coming together and working with families at the center of all of those conversations. So I would encourage you to check out the new OWL Resource Hub in the Child Care Toolkit. The hyperlink for that will be included in the context of this post. So please feel free to check that out and reach out to Abby or any of our early childhood providers who are part of this work with any questions that you might have. On behalf of my friend, colleague, and co-host, Ms. Stacey Angus, and our special guest this morning, Abby Hoskins, who is the regional manager for the Illinois Birth to Five Region 47 work, I'd like to thank you so much for tuning in and learning more about all of the wonderful things happening with early childhood in our area. And I would also like to say a very special thank you to each of you, our listeners, for tuning in once again this fine Thursday in the month of May. We hope that you have an incredible rest of your Thursday, a beautiful spring Friday, an even better weekend, and we will see you right back here next Thursday for another edition of Teacher Talk.